Hey everyone, I got a few questions in my last video, so I figured I would just answer them here. First, can the EP-40 act like a live looper? You probably could make some cool stuff if you want to get really creative and really, put in the time to practice, but I don't think it's like tailor-made for that by any means. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to put in the time and effort it would take to be able to do that, but don't let that stop you. You could probably still do some pretty creative stuff. Next, in my examples, I time stretched every single loop pad. Why did I do that? That's a great question. It's because when a pad is set to loop mode, it is just going to play continuously start to finish, and then it's just going to repeat the beginning no matter what the tempo is. Let's take this little drum break, and I'm going to turn off the time syncing. So I know this is at 160, but the tempo of this song is at 130, and I've got the metronome on. So let's hear, it's just going to be not in time at all. The problem is that if the sequencer is running and then I press this pad down, it's not going to start from the beginning. It's going to start the loop from wherever it was, which is wildly out of time. If I hold shift and press sound to go into sound edit mode and I sync this to BPM, that's going to be pretty helpful. It's going to respond well to different tempos and it's going to stay in time, provided the loop is exactly the right duration. It'll follow the tempo all the way back up to where it originally was. But if I go back into sound edit mode and navigate to trim, and I just trim off just a fraction of a second from the end there, this is going to drift out of time. Because even though it's adjusting the tempo, it's still playing back to back, and it's not a full loop at this tempo. Bar mode can keep the loop in time even if it's not perfectly in rhythm. So here's what I mean. Let's go back to our timing mode and change it to bar. Now I've changed it to 2 bars. And now even though I've trimmed off some of the end of it, it's still going to be somewhat in time when I resume playback, even if I let a couple bars go by. So every 2 measures it's catching back up. That said, I don't recommend using bar mode if you're planning on using the chop function, or if you're planning on using these as one-shots. Next, how does loop work in live mode? I'm going to enter live mode by holding sound and pressing main. And now as our drum break plays back, if I change the tempo, it's going to change the tempo of the drum break to match. If I'm not in live mode, the playback speed will change, but the pitch is not changing. And so as a result, we're getting some of those artifacts there. So let's bring it up to about where it was originally. Turn on live mode. And now if I change the tempo, it's going to stay, it's not going to break up, it's just going to change pitch instead. Finally, is there a fast and easy way to resample on the EP-40 and on the EP series in general? And the answer is yes. I'm going to select the pad that I want to sample to, hold sound, and press in the number that I want to record to, or you could just let it record to whatever the lowest open spot is. Then I'm going to press sample, and I'll press plus until I see resample. 1 of those speakers shows that it's mono, 2 means that it's resampling in stereo. I'm going to let it resample in stereo because for this example, I'm going to resample a sound with the chorus effect. I'm going to press main and just exit the sample menu for a second. I'll hold fader and press effects, and then I'll increase my effects send. Open the effects menu, make sure we're on chorus. I'll open up the sample menu, and I'm going to hold shift and press the pad I'm going to resample to, and now I can even move between groups and press different pads. And once the volume here gets past that threshold, it's going to begin recording and sampling. Then you have to remember to press sample to actually stop it. So let's go back. And now let's reset the fader setting so it's not sending to the effects anymore. And in fact, let's change the effect to delay. Now we have our original sample. And then we have the version that we resampled with the chorus. thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.